everybody, and welcome to our event preview video for the premiere of the Hollywood Challenge Series. This is going to be a 2-round singles tournament taking place on Sunday, May 22nd at Mountainside Disc Golf Course in Monson, Massachusetts. And signups are available right now on Disc Golf Scene. Hollywood is a rule set that can be played on any course with 2 baskets. And players can throw to either basket, but are rewarded with a half stroke off their score for going to the longer position. So here at Mountainside, if you got a 3 to red, that would count as a 3. But if you got a 3 to gold, that would count as a 2.5. All right, preview on the card today, we got myself, and then I'm joined by a couple members of Team Crane. We got Juji Ferd, who you should know from New England Women's Disc Golf and the putting league that she runs up in north of Worcester. And then next on the card is Steve Toos, who is a great dude and was one of the local league organizers. And then we got Carly Sharon, who is part of Team Dynamic Discs and is a disc golf bra. So thank you very much to the 3 of them for coming out and joining me. Oh, and then of course we've got Dixie, my dog, on the card. She'll be in the backgrounds. And so for this little preview video, first we have this amazing drone footage that is shot by our friend Paul. He has a project called the Disc Drone, and it's up and live now on YouTube. So after you finish watching this, or even pause the video right now and go subscribe to his YouTube channel, and you'll be able to see a bunch of different hole previews for different courses in the area. So here we are on hole 1. Now you come through this tunnel and you can either take a quick left for that red basket position, or if you're feeling mighty saucy, you can try to get all the way up to this gold position, which is on an OB island. So we got Carly teeing off first. I think she's throwing a trespass here. The first shot, you definitely just kind of want to make it up onto the gap, or through the gap and up onto the hill, and then give yourself either a look to that 2 for red, or if you're not able to get it, maybe then you would risk taking that shot to get the 3 on gold.
No big deal.
All right, Juji, who had just come out of the car, fires a nice, great drive. I'm up here next, flicking my VIP Giant, and I get through the gap. Definitely a great first hole. It looks like you have some room out in the fields, but this is pretty much the only half a hole that happens. And Toos pulls up his destroyer over a little bit, but it fades all the way through the woods. So now we don't really have any great looks at the 2 for red. I think it's a really tough 2 to get. So Juji is going to lay up underneath the... Oh, I guess Carly does have a little putt, but not quite able to make it, but sticks for those tap-ins for 3 red, which is a great score. There's Carly getting the first one. And Juge follows her right in, so they get 3s on the hole. But Toos is going to get a little greedy and try to get that 2.5, but his throw goes out of bounds. So he'll be taking it from there from us with a stroke penalty. I'm a little closer, so I'm going to throw my soft harp up onto the island green safe. And Toos has to make this across the OB, not quite able to make it. You can see his disc in the OB right there. So I get to tap in for my 3 to gold, which counts as a 2.5, which is pretty sweet. If you've ever gotten a half-stroke birdie before, we've been playing our own league at Borderland State Park, and while this layout sounds kind of crazy, it's been pretty popular. So this is what it looks like on UDisc. You mark track penalties, and when you see those OB markers, you mark yourself OB if you go to the long basket, and that will eventually come off your score at the end for those half strokes. All right, here is the preview of hole 2. It's a tricky little downhill hole. It's the only downhill hole on the front 9. Now this course is called Mountainside for a reason. It's on a huge hill, and the front 9 basically goes up. But right here, hole 2, the only hole that goes down. You got this tricky little inside lane if you want to go to the red basket. Or the drone's going to start over a little bit closer to the tee pad, and you can follow this left gap all the way down to a hanging basket over on a ridge for the gold basket. So you know, when you're playing Hollywood, you just get to pick wherever you want to throw. If you like the red basket, you can go there. If you want to challenge yourself and go to the gold basket, it's right there for you. So I got a fuse in my hand, and I'm going to go down that left side, flip up that fuse, and just have it start gliding. And it misses all the trees and would probably go about a mile past the basket, but hits a tree and sits down. So that was very lucky. And here comes our T-Box troll, Miss Dixie, right as Carly's about to throw. But still fun to have a dog on the card. There will be no dogs on tournament day, but here's Carly throwing a gold line compass and gets this little tree kick, and it kicks her down, but she's still pretty much on the fairway. Jude looks like she's got one of her prototype PA4s. That is an old Frisbee. She's been playing for a while. And she turns it over a little bit, and it's kind of in that lane that looks like it's going towards red. So here comes Toos. Looks like a mid-range in his hand. He starts it out a little outside and clips a tree. So he's got a lot of work from there. He's kind of in that little gully between 2 and 4. And I think his flick might have been to the long basket, but it hyzers out and now is just outside the circle for the red basket. So the thing about Hollywood, you do not have to declare what your intention is. So if you are throwing at one basket and you hit a tree and you end up next to another one, it's totally fine. You know, it adds really a kind of dynamic way to play the game. So whatever happens, you might not be planning for it, but you just got to go with the flow. So here's Toos trying to save his 3 from outside the circle, and he cashes it right in the basket. Nice putt, Toos. So he'll get that 3 red. And Juge, after hitting a tree on her upshot, is going to get that 4 red. The red basket is tricky. It might be the shorter one, but it could be just as difficult. Although we say that as we're coming down to this elevated basket. So Carly's got this little 22-footer on an elevated basket, and if you miss, it could be big trouble. So, but she doesn't. She puts it right on the pole. Gets her 3 gold, which is again worth 2.5. And then I caught that nice lucky tree. So I've got a probably 20-footer, which I barely squeak in for the 2 gold, which is worth 1.5. So again on the card, you put in how many strokes it took you to complete the hole, and then if you went to the long basket, you mark yourself OB. So Carly and I have the OB marker because we went to the long one. All right, next is hole 3. This is kind of a must-get birdie because the next couple holes are really tough as we go up the hill. This one might be a couple feet of elevation gain, but pretty easy. This red one is right here, a nice little easy straight shot. Or if you throw a little bit of a higher shot and try to climb the hill, you got to miss a couple trees up in the air, but the basket's not that much further. So, you know, Hollywood is all about these like mini gambles of like, do you want to go for the slightly harder shot, and you might get rewarded for it, or you might not. So I'm definitely going to go for this longer one and turn my deputy over, but it really just kind of dies out and ends up in the circle for red. So Carly's next. Looks like she's got some kind of driver in her hand. She's going to push it nice and straight and miss all the trees and then hyzer back late. She'll be just around circle's edge. Toos is up next, and he's going to throw a little fairway driver hyzer up, but catches those trees. And it's knocked down a little bit short. Jude just next, and she's going to throw the exact line you want to throw. The nice pushing hyzer, skips up just outside the circle. And there's Dixie again. She was having a blast. So despite the fact that my tee shot was intended to go to gold, I ended up with a better putt to red, and I sink it for the 2. Toos is next. He's probably got 45 to try to get the 2 gold, which is 1.5. He's unable to put it in. And here's Juge. Now Juge runs the putting league up at Schoolyard in, I think, Holden during the winter. It's very popular, and well, I'm glad it's time to play outside. If you're looking for something to do in the winter, that putting league is amazing. Carly looks like she's been to a putting league or two as she cashes that awesome putt for the 2 gold, which goes on her scorecard as a 1.5. And Toos is going to tap in for the 3 gold, and Juju gets picked up. It's a little tap in. We're playing casually, so Here we go with the scores again. So, again, how many strokes it took to finish, and then an OB marker if you went to the long. All right, now it's time to go up the hill. This is hole 4, let's say one of the most daunting tee shots on the course. You got to hit this early lane, and if you want to take this left side fairway, you can come up to the red basket, but it is way up there. I think it's like 390 feet, not even counting the elevation. Or if you come to the right side of this gap, you can fly this right fairway and get to gold. Now, most players are right-handed, so they're either going to have to throw a flick to get on this right side fairway or throw a really tough uphill turnover. So that's kind of the challenge. It's which one do you want to pick, and you don't have to decide off the tee box. You can just chuck it and see where you land. Carly threw a nice looking hyzer but clips a tree. Now, being lefty, I'm definitely going to go for this right side fairway, but I hit the exact same tree. So maybe my plan will have to change. Toos is just going to go for the old hyzer play, chucks it up nice and hard, and although it started on the right side, it's going to fade into that left side fairway, and that is a perfect spot to land if you want to approach to red. Oh, Juji just clips that tree and ends up on the left side of the fairway, kind of where the drone flew. It can be a kind of tough place to play, so she puts up a nice move and gets her just most of the way up the fairway. Here comes Carly throwing a fairway driver. She had a great drive and a nice second shot, but it looks like she's still short. It's far and uphill. I'm definitely going to go to red here, but I kick a tree, but then I kick a root. So now I'm outside the circle on the red one. Juji's got to fight this back door and gets her forehand approach a little turned over. And Toos says, man, this Hollywood thing really makes you think, which is honestly one of my favorite parts of the layout. If you you got to really judge, do I think I can make it to here or here? Like, what are my percentages of getting that half stroke? But also, if you're not into that and you just want to play reds or you just want to play golds, you can do that. It's really a choose your own adventure kind of layout, and whatever you want to play, that's fine. It's acceptable. There's no, you have to play this spot on that basket. It's all about freedom. All right, Carly gonna smash in for her 4 red, which is a nice score. Juge taps in her 5 red. And Toos with the awesome 3 red. Now I gambled on my upshot and I'm trying to get this half stroke by getting a 4 to gold, but I've got this little tester putt. There's always that little wind, but I'm able to catch it. So 4 gold turns into a 3.5, and I only lose a half stroke to Toos, but gain a half stroke on Carly. So again, you can see I was the only person with the OB marker because I was the only person who went to gold. All right, this is another barely uphill, but really important birdie to get. If you are right hand backhand, you're going to try to hit this gap and then either fade softly to the left for the red basket, or if you're looking for a little more challenge, you can turn it up a little bit and fly all the way straight to the gold pin. The gold pin might be a little bit tougher of a shape, but it's not that much further, so I would expect a lot of people to go for the gold. Toos is on the box first, throwing that mid-range again, and puts it nice and out there. Great shot, probably within 20 feet. And I'm going to throw my Lucid Deputy again, and even though it's leaking out right, that this is so understable, it's able to fade back and land in the circle. Carly looks like she's reaching for a Saint or something. Throws a nice low flip up. Oh, clips a little tree. Now that might have, that could have had a look either at the gold one or it might have even hyzered to red. So you kind of never know when the baskets are this close together. Woo. Juge. Oh, she could have got a little better skip and ended up by red, but now she's kind of in that in-between spot. In-between makes the decision easy because obviously you're going to go for the basket that gives you that half-stroke bonus, but sometimes you get in the spot where maybe you're 30 feet away from the long basket and or maybe 50 feet away from the long basket and 30 feet to the red basket, and then you got to decide what is my best chance of making the putt, or should I just lay up? And that can be a really fun dynamic to add to the round. All right, I'm able to make my 2 gold from about 20 something feet, and Toos lining up a inside 20 footer for his 2 gold, and he's able to put it in. So nice scores for the card, as Carly is able to sneak her in, and Juge gets another pickup. So 2.5s for the ladies on that one, 3 gold. So everybody gets the OB marker. 2s for Toos and Sam, and 3s for Carly and Juge. And now we are on hole 6, another big uphill hole. Super challenging tee shot. You got to throw it pretty straight right through these trees, and then have it start slowly fading to the left. And you want to land about here, and that still leaves you with a tricky upshot. You got to navigate a bunch more trees, still going uphill to get to the red. Or even more difficult, the drone is going to fly a little inside where you'd probably want to land. You want to land pretty much in the same spot, but then you got to navigate this really tricky last part of the fairway as it comes up and then slightly to the right, just to get to the gold pin, which is even more protected. So another one where 3 is an absolutely great score, and then going to gold is even a little better. But let's see where these drives can land to. Oh, Toos looks like a freaking awesome drive.
So good.
Barely kisses inside, but now he might have a pretty good look to go to gold. So I'm going to throw my giant again, forehanded uphill. Comes off a little inside. Oh, it smacks a tree. It's not terrible, but it's not exactly where I meant to go. Carly going to shoot a nice, low, straight shot that wants to climb the hill a little bit, but doesn't really get any kind of skip. And Juge is up next. Throwing what looks like a driver, probably D4 would be my guess. And she's able to scooch Heiser up the hill.
That's pretty good.
Not the furthest drive, but in a great position, honestly. Now I have no shot to gold, so I'm going to see if I can't try to get my 3 to red. I'm going to throw a Maverick, and I thought this was an awesome shot. I really thought I was going to be pretty close. But I am like outside circle too, so it wasn't quite as good as I'd hoped. Juge also trying to get the 3 red, but clips a tree about halfway up. And Carly also not quite hitting her shot right.
Hell yeah.
And kind of lands outside circle to the left. Now let's see if Toos can nail this uphill forehand flex. It's looking good. Oh, but catches a tree. It is such an impressive 3 to gold. But it's attainable with a couple good shots. So Juge is going to park herself underneath the red one. And even though I was planning on going for red, I was too far away from making putt. So I decided to go through this little gap in the trees that probably doesn't exist during the summer, but we were playing before the leaves came in. So I got to shoot this little window, and Carly follows me. So now we're going to have some shots for getting the 4 to gold. Here's Juge to clean up her 4 red, and nails it. And Toos has this shot to get the 3 gold and get a bunch of strokes on everybody. Oh, just a little out left. But, I mean, it's certainly possible to get the 3 gold, but it's really a really great couple shots. And Carly hits the 4 gold, so, we got 3.5s, which are, pretty good score on this hole. It's very challenging, tough par 4. As everybody gets a 4 on the card, but 3 of us went to gold to get that half stroke. And that brings us to hole 7. We are going to fly this little tunnel up to the left. You got to make it through here, which is going to be pretty tight. And then you can either come up to the right and get to this red basket, or you can continue down the tunnel in this long shot and try to get to the gold one. Now you can't get a 2 on the gold, at least I can't. I don't think most people can. It's a really pretty far shot. But the 2 on red is also very difficult, so maybe you'd be kind of tempted to, throw this great shot that Toos is throwing, hitting the gap, getting up there, and then see what your options are. I'm going to go back to my Maverick that I threw in the last hole, and that's exactly how I want to hit it, and it just hits a stump, so no skip that I was looking for. Just a little bit of, just a couple extra feet on this hole can make a big difference. Carly slaying the gap with that nice little S turnover.
Great shot, Car.
Lands just beyond me, but slides in the woods a little bit.
Do you want me to
But
go? I'll go.
she probably won't have a great position to go to gold, but that 3 red is definitely in play. And here's Judge throwing a pro leopard. And kicks a little tree and lands right next to me. So she is going to make the smart decision and lay up to red. And I am not. I am going to gamble a little bit. This is a really tough upshot, but I feel like I can make it. So I'm going to throw a turnover with my fuse. That doesn't quite turn over enough, but I'd say lands about 45 feet away. Hollywood is, full of those half-stroke gambles where you're like, I could easily get up and down for red, but I'm going to try to go for that extra stroke, or that extra half-stroke by getting to gold, and sometimes it works out, and sometimes it doesn't. So here's Toos throwing a Firebird. Oh, and it just lands inbounds. There's a little road over there that is out. But his disc stopped short, so he's able to stay in. And Juge got this nice little 18-footer. No problem for her. She gets that 3 red. And Carly was totally parked for her 3 red, so she's just going to flip it right in there. And well, let's see if my gamble paid off, as I have this like 40-something footer. Gonna straddle out and get a little jumper. Oh, not quite high enough. And here comes Mountainside. The thing about always going for that little bit of longer one, not only will sometimes you not make it, but you really invite disaster. But luckily I'm able to stuff the comebacker from outside, so I survived with just the half-stroke loss by not going to red. But that is going to put me on the back of the box, as Toos gets the 2.5, 3s for ladies, and 3.5 for me. Alright, hole 8. I'd say this is the last big uphill hole on the front 9. You got to get either to the right or left of that big double tree, and then start turning hard to the right once you get up here. You can either take this inside line or the big ante out wide. And it leads to kind of this little hallway, and as you navigate it, you can finish up to the left on a little righty hyzer for the red basket. Or you can push a little bit further and off to the right for the gold one. So it really depends on where your drive is going to land, what basket you're going to have a good look at. As Toos throws this turnover forehand up the inside gap and gets way up there. That's a great shot. Carly is next on the boss, throwing, I believe, a trespass. Or maybe a saint. And, ooh! Goes right through the V tree.
Oh, yeah.
Kicks it off to the right a little bit, but I think she'll take that.
That's a good kick for a...
And Juge also going to aim for the right side. Oh, comes out a little early and is going to hyzer down the hill. That could be a tough spot to land on this hole for sure. Now my favorite play is actually this big turnover forehand. I get some good height and ooh, overturned it a little bit but missed the tree, and it pans and flies pretty far down there.
That was close.
So now Jude just kind of get up the hill with some forehands. A little bit tucked on the left side, but manageable. And Carly doinks the tree as she tries to navigate out the fairway, but she's got another shot right here coming up. Oh, she got that fuse in her hand. One of my favorite discs, and throws it beautifully. Coasting Anheuser, kicks a little bit of a tree. Perfect line though. I'm going to reach for a verdict. And come in a little bit early and do not get the skip as I hit a rock or a root or something. But here's Toos going to throw this nice forehand approach. Little Sexton Firebird looks like. And that is absolutely perfect. Just past the basket. Probably within 15 feet at the most. Now, Jude just kind of jailed up on this left side of the fairway. It can be a tough spot. And I think she clips another tree and just lands just outside of the circle. Unable to put it in, but she's going to tap in for her 5 red right there. And Carly has this look to save her 4 gold. Not quite able to make it, so she'll tap in for a 5 gold. And I am just outside the circle. I get another jump putt. And I'm able to cash it to get a 3 gold or 2.5. I think that is going to be about the best score you can get on this hole. It has 2 red. It's just like pretty insane. I know if maybe if Kevin Cole plays it, you know, he'll be able to get that 2 red. But everybody else, some 3s and some 5s. I think it's a tricky hole and a very punishing tee shot. And all right, now we're on hole 9. It's the last hole of our little preview here today. But we have reached the top of the hill, so now your legs are aching and your legs are burning, but you feel like you've gotten outside and definitely exercised. I love this course. It's super fun to play. It's so scenic. It's so beautiful, and you definitely feel like you get a good workout. All right, the drone's going to fly this inside position to red, or if you want, you can stay more down the right side of this fairway. And while this basket isn't super far away, there is OB left and right once you get to the about here. So it's very, very dangerous. And any errant shot can really cause the strokes to add up pretty quick here. So Toos is going to go inside, and it looked good for a while, but ends up getting cut down a little bit. And I'm going to go for the pink deputy. Kind of high straight shot that is just going to hold and turn and turn and turn and turn. Yeah, that's a pretty good one. But not quite as good as Carly's. She is going to throw a little flip-up driver inside that coasts, misses all the trees, gets a little skip, and is absolutely parked. And last in the box we got Juge. Big thanks to for her to come out this day. I know she was teaching at her job up in like Leominster. She drove all the way out here. She played a bunch of disc golf the day before, so she said her legs were pretty dead. And Mountainside is a tough course if your legs aren't feeling it. Oof, that shot skips close, but stays in bounds. Really dangerous green to approach. But Toos is going for it, and he makes a really great shot. Looks like a little AVR up to the basket. Well, this is definitely, oof, as I barely squeak it in on the right side. And I'm able to make my 2 to red. And here's Carly, also hanging out on the right side, but in. And also collects a 2 red. So, Toos for us. Toos gets the 3 gold, so only drops half a stroke, but 3 gold is pretty good because, you know, unfortunately, as Julie's demonstrating, this is a pretty mean basket location. So, here we go with a little recap of some of the scores after the front 9. I shot a 26 with 7 penalties. That's a 22.5. Toos was 29 with 7 penalties as well. That's 25.5. Juge had 35 with 3 long baskets. That's 33.5. And Carly had 28 with 5 gold baskets. So that is a 26.5. So if this style of golf appeals to you, please sign up for the event. It's going to be super fun. I really look forward to everybody trying it out, experiencing. It's going to be a 2-round singles tournament. It will not be PDGA sanctioned. I emailed them and they thought that was too much fun for them. But it will be a NIFA Point Series event. So if you're a NIFA member, it's a great way to come and have some points and have a good time. So you can find the tournament on Disc Golf Scene. We have all the divisions are open to sign up for. AMs will be getting a nice player pack and then paid out through our store here in Sharon, and pros will be paid out in cash via PayPal. So I hope you guys dig the idea and come out and play. It would really mean a lot to me. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on tournament day. Peace.